and this is a first aid kit. So if you're a dad, you are medic number one for your kids. You're always getting the bumps, the bruises, the scratches, the skin knees, things like that. Or you're active, you're going out and you're getting fish hooked, you're getting cut, you're getting, bruises, scrapes, all that stuff. And it's nice to have an effective and well-built first aid kit. But a cool thing about this that I have to show is just how well thought out this thing actually is. And I checked this out the other day and I was super excited about what's in it. 250 pieces. But I kid you not, this thing has so much more when you actually look into it that you don't get with a traditional one. Really cool layout here, right? So it allows us to fold itself out, which I like to have a lot of visibility of what's going on. You're going to have your standard gauze pouches, right? So this is going to be your wraps. This one, which is actually separately wrapped, and I want to point this out and why it's so important. It's separately plastic wrapped, so it's going to stay fresh, but if it gets wet, this is not going to mildew or mold. But this is your alcohol pads, your antiseptic wipes, this is your bee sting kits, this is all that. It does not have antibiotics. So it has antiseptics, and it's got the bee sting, which got some isotracin, sounds like an antibiotic, but it's not. The rest of the other stuff is just traditional size bandages, a ton of them, because that's what we know what we use most in these kits is going to be just your traditional bandages. You're not doing your Israeli quick clot with this or anything like that. It's not going to be some crazy thing, but it's going to have larger size gauze and adhesive bandages, sterile as well, so they're all pre-wrapped. Another cool thing, there's a pocket knife in here, but this is just a really simple folder knife. So you've got a folding knife here. You can use that to cut bandages. You can use that to cut things. Very basic setup, but one of the things I like about this is it has a locking blade, and you can actually latch it to anything. So if you wanted this on the outside of the kit, you're not worried about kids getting into it or anything, you can latch this on the outside. So you're getting a free knife essentially with your first aid kit, as well as some of the other stuff that I'm going to show, which is really powerful to get in a kit like this. It doesn't have emergency water, but again, you can get some that do. It's going to have your standard exam gloves. I can't tell you how important this is now today. You don't want to get somebody else's cut or wound infected. This is an exam glove that you can throw on quickly that's sterile. Triangular bandages. So that's yet another one. You've got a multi-card here. Inside of this is something that can actually tighten wrenches. So it's got some, hex tightening, bottle opener, saw blade, knife, it's got a sharpened edge, and it's all listed in this, right here. It's also got a can opener. It's got like the old military style can openers there. So you can hook that in and open a can. We're going to look at adhesive bandage wrap. Now I would get more bandage tape. So this is not enough. This is enough to put a couple band-aids down. I would use this for gauze and bigger ones. I would get a couple different sizes. And then you've got safety pins. Can't tell you how many times safety pins come in handy, but they got a whole gang of them in here. I'm going to go into the other side here because this is where, like I said, all the cool stuff is. How about a paracord bracelet? So this paracord is good for 500 pounds. It's your traditional paracord. It's in green, but again, it's a survival item. It's not something you're going to wear every day. And I was trying to figure this out because it has a little bit more going on than you would traditionally expect. So yeah, it's kind of a first aid and survival, as Jeremy said. So you get your compass. Again, north is that way, which is actually correct. So that's working. It's got a whistle. So the ability to get help, get noticed, that's another really important thing. It's got a fire starter. Let's see. Can we get that? Yeah. So I don't want to start my studio on fire, but yeah, you can see, just put some embers out there. This thing, as a paracord bracelet, you can actually create sparks and fire with it. So you could, in a pinch, start a fire with this paracord bracelet because it's got basically a flint and steel or whatever you want to call it. It's got a fire stick built into it. A good set of bandage scissors. Now I carry bandage scissors, are much smaller in my little first aid kit for flying. And you can put this on skin and cut along here and not worry about cutting somebody. And these are usually not something that's picked up by the TSA. Check the regulations wherever you're at. Now, if you are really in a pinch and you need a bigger flint and steel, it's got a full-size one as well. So it's got your traditional, lanyard here. and your traditional flint and steel that you can literally, now again, bottle opener, wrench, other stuff, but you can use this traditionally. Yeah. So hopefully you guys can see that. So more traditional flint steel, little tiny measuring. So basically a survival and first aid in one. We're not done yet, people. I'm telling you, this thing just keeps going and going. 250 different items. So there is, and I don't want to blow out my camera CCD, but there is a flashlight now. Now it did not come with a battery. It needed one AAA battery, and I appreciate that it was not a lithium, because lithiums are great, but you know, harder to buy and maintain. This just uses a single AAA battery, and you know, it has many different modes. That's on low now. Now it's a little bit lower, and then it has a flashing mode as well. So you've got your traditional modes. It also does change. So if you want to change the brightness, if you're changing a car tire, maybe you set it up and do that. It also has a clip on the side of it, so you can clip this to the outside of the bag. Sometimes you don't want to have to go digging for your flashlight. So, you know, you can use this as just kind of an emergency flashlight, really easy to adjust and use. Very happy that they included that. It would have been nice to have a battery, but you know what? I actually was rather to put a Duracell in it. I was happy to do that because I know the battery's gonna last. So there's that. There's a bunch of other stuff in here. Again, more alcohol-free, cleansing wipes. You've got additional gauzes. We're going to continue down that survival path. This is an emergency poncho. I can't tell you how many times we've used boating, garbage bags, anything, because we're in the Northwest and it rains constantly. So you've got that. It's going to have a traditional set of tweezers. I have to say, they're not the sharpest tweezers in the box. They're kind of blunted. Again, they probably didn't want to get in trouble if you were going to carry this someplace, but they will pull a splinter out and they won't get the wound dirty. You can do some stuff with that, and they're pretty heavy duty. You know, they're very strong because of their size. You're going to have Q-tips. There's not enough uses in the world for Q-tips, so there is a ton of Q-tips in this. This is probably, you know, 100 of the 250 items, but no, that's kind of a joke with a lot of first aid kits. But that is a bunch of Q-tips you can use for a variety of things. These are 2 glow sticks. Now I thought about breaking one of these open on the air and, you know, seeing what it is, but my studio's so bright you don't really get to see them. But 2 6-inch extended glow sticks come with it, so you have 12 hours, it says, each of light. So if you need to crack a couple glow sticks and throw that down, great idea. Another thing that, you know, I don't use these yet, and I have not fortunately had a need to use these, but this is a CPR dam, so that you can actually use a one-way valve. This covers up, you know, the mouth and face and has a valve so you can't get any fluid back on you. Couple emergency thermal blankets. So this is another cool thing. This is going to be, it looks like one very large one. This is 52 by 82, so it's more than 6 feet long. So that's kind of cool. I'm just checking to make sure I didn't lose anything in there, but that's what you're getting. Again, 250 piece kit, 100 pieces of those are Q-tips, but thermal blanket, poncho, glow sticks, you know, they've done a really good job. This is actually probably one of my favorite products of the show today. I think that this would go really well just because of all the neat stuff that it comes with, but really cool, really compact. Dad's gonna love that.